A couple days ago, we got a huge update to the Commander format. 5 cards came off of the ban list, and then there were several changes done to the Game Changers list, and most of these changes I'm all about. I liked a lot of these changes, but there were a handful that I have questions about, so I'm going to give you my opinions today, and your mileage may vary. You might agree with them more or less than I do. You might agree with some of the things I say or disagree with some of the things I say, so let me know in the comments below, but let's go ahead and jump into the few things that I'm hesitant about. I should start off by saying that all of the cards that were unbanned, Gifts Ungiven, Sway of the Stars, Braids Cabal Minion, Coalition Victory, and Panoptic Mirror, I think are all okay to come off of the ban list, especially since they're all moved to the Game Changers list. Anything that you might be worried about these cards will just kind of fit okay in the higher brackets. For power reasons, you're not going to see them at lower power tables, so I think they're going to be okay coming off the ban list. My criticisms today come from the Game Changers list. Trinisphere and Trouble in Pairs came off of the Game Changers list. Trinisphere, I think, kind of makes sense. It's kind of a stacksy piece that you don't really see outside of CEDH, and even then, it's not that bad, so taking it off of the Game Changers list makes sense. But Trouble in Pairs kind of worries me coming off of the Game Changers list. Their justification for taking Trouble in Pairs off of the Game Changers list is that there are other cards that aren't on the Game Changers list that can draw about the same amount of cards at about the same rate and or speed, and then don't cite any of their sources. They don't make any reference to specific cards, which I find suspicious at best. But in my experience in my own play group and in editing Commander Clash at MTG Goldfish, I know that Trouble in Pairs is insane. It will often draw more cards than, say, a Rhystic Study or something like that. It was a mistake. They shouldn't have printed it. It's one of the best card draw engines in the format, and taking it off of the Game Changers list, in my opinion, is a mistake. They also added 18 cards to the Game Changers list, most of which I agree with, but there's a couple I don't necessarily agree with. They lumped together Narset Parter of Veils, Orcish Bowmaster, and Notion Thief as card draw hate pieces. I see the argument for Narset and Notion Thief because they literally stop your opponents from drawing cards. However, I don't think Orcish Bowmasters is of the same caliber. Yes, if you cast it in response to, say, like a Rishgar expertise and they're going to draw a bunch of cards and you're going to be able to throw a lot of damage around, either maybe kill someone or kill some of their creatures, yeah, that's kind of backbreaking. But once it's in play, you're not stopping your opponents from drawing cards the way you do with Narset or Notion Thief. You're still letting that person draw, they're just being okay with the fact of taking damage. So yes, Orcish Bowmasters is an incredibly powerful card, but I don't think it's of the same caliber of Narset and Notion Thief. Maybe that still means it could be a game changer, though I'm not specifically convinced, at least in the way that it's framed in this article. The other card added to the Game Changers list that I don't really agree with is Consecrated Sphinx, which, yes, is a very powerful card draw engine, but it's 6 mana, it's only a 4/6 flyer. In my experience, what happens is this comes down and it immediately gets killed. It probably doesn't draw many, if any, cards. And especially because most Commander players play casually, people are much more interested in playing card draw that is on theme with their deck. They're an enchantment deck, they want enchantment. They're playing a specific creature type, they want to play the creature types that draw, and so on and so forth. And so as a result, Consecrated Sphinx isn't played nearly as much as it used to be. I feel like this is kind of a boomer add-on pick. Yes, it can be really powerful, but it never goes unchecked, and it's not as played or as powerful as it used to be, especially because more Commander players are more interested in playing on-theme card draw. The article also mentioned some other cards that were talked about for Game Changers, notably Farewell, Mana Drain, and Soul Ring were mentioned in the article. Those are cards I think personally should be added to the Game Changer list, but they had reasonings as to why they weren't. You can check out the article linked in the description to see their reasoning for those cards, as well as several other cards as to why they were not added to the Game Changers list. So those are my thoughts on Tuesday's update to Commander, both unbannings and Game Changer list changes. I'm still very pro this new strategy. I haven't used it a ton because my regular play group just kind of has this understanding on what kind of games we're looking for, but I do think that for pickup game reasons and like fighting games at cons, your LGS, on spell table, stuff like that. I still really like this system. I think the Game Changers list is a step in the right direction, so I'm excited to see them constantly making changes and updates to the system to make it better for more players. But let me know in the comments how you're feeling about these updates. Do you like the unbans? Is there anything else you think they should have unbanned? Is there anything you think they should have banned? And then what do you think about the changes that they made to the Game Changers list? I'll see you guys later with another video. Bye.